All right, I was on mute. I'm sorry. Hello, everyone. Hi, Candy.
Hey, Voracious, how are you?
I am fine as long as I am live. Okay. It is so hot.
Yes. And I hope anyone tuning in, joining us today or on the replay gang is having a wonderful Saturday. I'm having a relaxing day myself. Hey,
Yeah.
Go Better.
Hey, Go Butter. How are you? But yeah, it was. I felt like today was going to be a cooler day, but it was more on a warmer day here.
Child, look, every day is hot in Texas.
I, I,
Look,
there's
dead
a
of
group.
winter, it's hot. Okay.
There's a group of people that I be like, how do you guys do it? And that's you guys in Texas, because Texas and California, I'm like, what the heck?
And I'm so glad you are feeling better, Go Better. Let's get you to 100%, girl. I know how it is. Definitely know how that feels. I'm still having a little lingering, but I'm feeling much better, and you're going to feel better too.
Oh, you was. I'm sorry to hear you wasn't feeling well about it.
Yeah, girl. The Rona is back and in effect is going around, girl.
I think I'm just out the loop because if I go someplace, I'm not really around people. Um, I still do like the drive by thing and stuff like that. So I got to make sure that I either way, I always have a mask in my bag. Since Corona, I've never stopped that because you don't never know when it's gonna break out. Remember that just broke out, so I'm always ready for if I need a mask.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right,
So what's on the agenda for today's show today,
so
Voracious? Y'all know we doing this great series here and learning a lot. What's the angle today that we're talking about and learning about?
today I'm gonna share some stuff that I've learned because I did get an update from my husband's lawyer who had been like I'm not sure if I can really say we've been playing phone tag because I've been calling but he hasn't been calling back, so it was like I was always it. But finally, the one day last week I was able to get in touch with him, and that was after they had been trying to send a letter to my husband that went back for the third time, and the lawyer told me, he said, "Oh, this is the third time we tried to send this out." So I literally had to tell him what to put on there, which is why it wasn't getting through. Um, that sounds just so crazy to me because shouldn't a lawyer know what they need to send when they're sending mail to like somebody they're representing? I would think, but I guess not always in every state. But so he had gave me some information of how because I think I told you guys once that my husband was in appeal, but we didn't know what the verdict of the appeal was.
Welcome, Go Butter, to the stage.
Hi, Go Butter, welcome. So they didn't know what the
Hey,
I would
lady.
we,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Voracious.
So I really didn't know what the status was. My husband didn't either, was which is why I was trying to get in touch with the lawyer. Like, hey, if you can't communicate with me, at least can you communicate with him? So he can have an idea. So that was the letter was about that he lost the appeal, and he lost the appeal because the appeal was late by 7 days. You're supposed to do a something motion after you get your verdict, and you have 10 days to put that in. So however it was, everything was off. So
What was your husband told that was of the essence and that you guys only had 10 days to submit the appeal?
Hey, Tita. Um, he wasn't. I mean, he could have. I'm pretty sure we all knew that this was that time was critical, but that was what the lawyers were supposed to do. So the lawyer that he had failed to um get in what he was supposed to,
Okay,
which
so because hold on, I have questions. I just want to make it clear. And hey, Tita, okay, so when you go to do an appeal, is that something that's automatic, or did your husband had to request it in enough time to, does he have to say, I want to appeal, and then your lawyer knows, okay, I have to have this appeal in within 10 days of the verdict? I just want to
so
make
with,
sure we're all on the same page, how this works.
right. So with him, as soon as they said the verdict, the lawyer was like, "We're going to appeal," and my husband was like, "Yes, we're appealing." So it was like an immediate thing, like it was immediate confirmation that the appeal was supposed to happen. But the what I so because the man was sick, because this falls back on, and this is where they're trying to lay the blame at on the man that's deceased. So
Wow.
because he got sick right after that, that's going. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to say. This is the blame. This is where it fell in at. I don't necessarily agree with that because when he got sick and he didn't come to work, day 2 and 3, somebody else was supposed to get on it. That's what the supervisor steps in for. That's what I know how it's to operate.
That's what I would have thought as well, because if you have an active lawyer, I don't know if he was an independent lawyer or if he was with a firm, but if you have an active lawyer that you know is battling cancer and they're still working cases, there should be contingencies in place if he drops the ball, if he needs someone to step in, because if you're clearly letting him still work, he could have all kind of things going on where he's going to treatments and things like that. There definitely should have been someone helping with his cases at that point.
Right, and
So the
that's the
ball
thing.
wasn't dropped and the clients, get the short end of the stick.
Right, and
That's
that
just
was
so
pretty
bad
much.
that happened to you up there in Westmoreland County because I know all about that county. I think my nieces still live out there. Is Etna? Is that part of Westmoreland? Or
And
no, not Etna. Uh, what part does she live in? I know, like when I had gotten custody of her, I had to go to court for her out there in Westmoreland County. I don't know how she live out there, but she loves it out there. She's still out that way, and she has been through so much out there with them folks. It's unreal. We're like, I don't know why you don't come back to Allegheny County to Pittsburgh because it's just my. I think my girlfriend lives in, is that North Fayette, Mercer? Not Mercer. It's not Mercer County she lives in.
North Fayette is part of it.
North Fayette is part of it.
Hmm.
Yeah. My girlfriend just bought a house out there, um, a couple of years ago, and it's going to come to me the part that my niece just moved. Well, she moved about 3 years to not the other side, but it's still in Westmoreland County. And her children's father is from out there, born and raised, and he's Caucasian. And the mess that they put her through with her kids, my nephews, and I, it's just awful. And she still lives out there.
Wow. So basically, you're saying that that it may be a little different for the situation, but
Oh
they
yeah.
have an issue with the legal system out there and how they're treating
Oh,
people.
for
Okay.
sure. For sure. It's very far few in between of black people out there. Um And it's country. It's just I couldn't live out there. But Westmoreland County is big, but it's small. It's really they have like a real small tight knit community there, because everybody knows everybody. And I just think all the circulation of their fundings and everything like that, they keep it within.
Hmm.
And everybody knows everybody, you know. They have
Very
their
empty.
farms and their horses and their stables and their this, and it's generational wealth out there with them.
And that is Westmoreland County.
Yeah, it is. It,
And I just it's just like I'm trying to, and that's the reason why I feel like the legal system is so tainted like it is, because they are close knit. They're not letting all their little secrets out and stuff. So I don't feel like everywhere knows what's really going on there.
oh,
So
sure. And if you was in with, I know I didn't catch your live the last one that you did. I haven't replayed that one yet, but the first one you did the first time you talked about Westmoreland County and you were showing the demographics. I did read up on, I did know what everything that you were talking about in terms of that. Um, and it does not surprise me at all what you're going through out there. And unfortunately, like all three of my nieces was brought up in that system, um, foster care system out there, and it was not easy for them, um, just in that alone. But one of them is out there. My youngest niece, she chose to stay out there. But what you're going through with your husband, if you were in Allegheny County, it would definitely look totally different. You
yeah,
would
I don't even think this would have had, like, it would have,
not,
that would have been totally different in
mm,
Allegheny County,
yeah,
even in Fayette County. Like, those are the two bordering counties, right?
mm,
Even Fayette County, same thing. It wouldn't have been this. Like, I've been
those
like,
counties, I don't mess with them. I just don't like Fayette County, um, Mercer County, Westmoreland County. Like we don't do to them counties too well. I mean, Butler County is so, you know. But I mean, at least there's a little more black people there.
yeah,
Um, and only reason why I even say that, because the only time I've gone up to Butler County is when they have their fair, and their big fair up there. That's the only time I've gone up there. And then there might been black people just from Allegheny County and everywhere coming from there, or Washington, PA, going out there. So, um, yeah, that Westmoreland County. I haven't been out there in so many years, but she's there. I'm trying to think of which county she lives in right now, but she's still out there though.
Hey,
she's probably conditioned, because I find that most people here are conditioned.
Yes.
Um, and she's probably just conditioned to the way they are, and that's another reason like they're just allowed to just get away with whatever.
wow. Okay, so what happened when you guys were like, hey, he didn't get this in time. Something has to give. What are we gonna do here? What happened at that point when you
So,
guys realized? Because just can imagine what a hit that was when they tried to say, "Oh, you guys missed the deadline. Too bad." That because people really don't care. They don't act like they have any concern about that when it's you. So what did they say? What was their response when your lawyer submitted the paperwork too late?
well, he didn't even like this. The only reason like I have this information is because I did speak to the lawyer, and the lawyer basically is like, "Yep, this is what they did. I really can't talk to you anymore because you're going to be suing us because we did an injustice. you know. And I'm
Oh,
like,
he even said it out of his mouth. You got
yeah,
that name? You
oh
took that
yeah,
name down?
oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. They knew they messed up.
He's like, yeah,
That's
he's like,
awful.
and he say it wasn't me because, and he's right, it wasn't him. They can't pin it on him because at that time he had just taken the bar and did not have his results back. So he is free and
Wow.
clear. But whoever else in that office, and I'm thinking it's going to be the supervisor. Somebody's going to have to deal with it, and it's going to probably be the supervisor, who's not a nice person anyway. Because I think my mother-in-law spoke to him, and he wasn't even pleasant to her. When he went to see my husband, he wasn't pleasant with him. I've never spoken to him, so I can't even give you a.
Have you? I know. I think you've mentioned that before, but I don't recall what your answer was for it. But you tried an attorney from Allegheny for up there. I mean, because it's still PA.
We've been trying. So the first attorney we had was from Westmoreland County. Like I said, we did not know what was what. So he was from Westmoreland County, and that's where we really got railroaded into the place we are now.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to go to try to seek a lawyer someplace else, that's when they are saying like now we at the appeal process, and they're like, oh, like 50,000, 10,000 down type thing, and it's just like, oh my goodness, you know. But I did speak to this one lawyer in Allegheny County, and they were willing to do the appeal, but they want me to to call them, like come down here and sit down and talk with them and stuff like that. So like I have to put that on my agenda for one day next week.
Okay.
So hold on, I got a question now. So these people who messed up the appeal, they want to meet with you, right? That's what you said?
No, not the people. They don't even want to talk to me no more. Like
Oh, okay.
if I call the lawyer, like say if I call his lawyer on Monday, that man gonna have a panic attack because he done told me that he can't talk to me. Like he told me about 4 to 5 times, I can't even talk to y'all no more because whatever, and I'm like, yeah, no, you gonna talk to me until my husband get the letter because you really not off until he gets the letter because I'm not the client for real, you
Mhm.
know. So until y'all get that right, I gotta, because I still have another question because at first it took me a minute to realize that way he didn't even have his license yet. So that is what clears him, and that's why he was so eager because he said like basically. So now what he has to do is he has to get a PCRA lawyer, right? And the mere fact that they have this thing in place, like it's a lawyer for lawyers, they know what's going on. You
Mhm.
know? So now these people have to come in, they have to look at everything and then do a brief. Like I have some like videos to kind of give a little bit about it because of course all this stuff is new to me. So okay, here we go.
From the beginning of the process, there's obviously a consultation with your lawyer. From the beginning of the process, there's obviously a consultation with your lawyer. And what your lawyer does is listens to what you have to say and considers things that could be brought in a PCRA petition. The next thing and the most important thing to happen is your lawyer needs to get the case file from your prior lawyer. And perhaps the most important piece of that case file are the trial transcripts, or if there's a guilty plea, the guilty plea transcripts. And that allows the lawyer to do an investigation of the case. Client contact is also something that's extremely important. My practice is to set up conference calls with the client, or to have an email exchange over the prisoner's email system to get a sense of what the client thinks about what went wrong with the trial. Once that investigative process is done and issues have been identified, the first thing that happens in court is you file a Post-Conviction Relief Act petition. And the petition is a pleading. And what it is a paragraph by paragraph document that talks about the history of the case, recites the facts in as persuasive a manner as possible to show innocence, and then lays out the legal claims. Once that petition is filed, the Commonwealth generally gets 30 days to respond to that petition. More often than not, the Commonwealth files what's called a motion to dismiss. And that's a document that says the petition should be dismissed on legal grounds. When that document's filed, it falls on us to file a brief in response. And the brief in response is a legal document that puts forth legal arguments citing case law, explaining why the petition is properly filed and why you're entitled to relief. Once all those paper pleadings are entered in the record, the judge either decides the case on the pleadings or decides to have a hearing. If the case is decided against you on the pleadings, the judge will do what's called issuing a 907 notice. And what that is, it's a notice that the court intends to dismiss the petition. That gives you another 20 days to tell the judge why you're right and why the petition shouldn't be dismissed. Assuming the petition's dismissed, then you'd have 30 days to file an appeal. On the other hand, if a hearing is granted, the hearing will be scheduled, and you get your witnesses together and you assemble your evidence and you go to a hearing. And a PCRA hearing is basically a mini trial where your goal is to get a new trial. And after that hearing, the judge will decide the case. And if it's decided in your favor, the most common relief is you get a new trial. If it's decided against you, then you start an appeals process with the appellate courts.
Yeah, so that the way like he explains it, like it seems like it's so simple, right? Now, the one thing that the lawyer told me was that he has to contact his counselor in order to get the form so they can reach out and get him a PCRA lawyer. So he sends a note to his counselor because they actually never see the counselor. I'm not sure how you counsel people that you never see, but they never see them. They got to send these notes back and forth. And the counselor wrote him back that, oh no, you got to go get the form from the law library, right? Still, right now, we trying to figure out, like, I knew more information about what he needed to do than he did. So, but then come to find out, like, so he got approved to go to services, which they have on Saturdays. So one of the guys that go to service is like, I think they gave him like 3 life sentences, and he has already overturned 2 of them. So now he's working on the 3rd one. So he's actually going to the services with him, and he agreed to like help him with like some legal stuff and on the forms and stuff like that. So like that's one thing he has going in his favor right now.
So do we know anything about the process of getting this? Is it, you said PRCA? Because is this something that a prisoner has a right to, and that they're going to get paid representation to do this? Or when they mess up, you kind of left in the wind to try to get this type of representation on your own? since it is going up against a lawyer, basically for mishandling a case.
So the way they have like the PCRA is like lawyers for because the lawyers have messed up so many kids, so many cases, and they had to put this unit in place so that this can happen. You know, so that's what makes me when I found out about that because it's not in every state. So when I found out about that, I was like, well, they know about the shenanigans that's going on. And this is how they are basically trying to overturn stuff, I guess.
Okay. There's a question from Donicia real quick. And we just started, so a real quick recap for her.
Right. Hi, Danicia. I'm sorry. So right now, my husband is had a case where he was on a fighting for his life, and he actually wound up unaliving a guy. In the state that I live in, you're actually able to defend yourself to whatever limits, because if you think the person is trying to hurt you, it doesn't matter what it is, you know, you are able to defend yourself. And so, but now my husband did not. He was found guilty, and they gave him life in prison with they gave him life in prison and saying like he intended to do this. Went out that night, he intended to go out there and do that, which is the only way that, but which of is what it wasn't the case. The evidence doesn't say it, and his he did not have a just a whole summary. I'm all over the place, I know that, but there was not one black person on the jury. It was an all white jury, and it was not people of like that lived in the city. It's not people who would actually go through things like whatever he went through that night, you know, because even I wasn't there, so I didn't know. So it's just like we're trying to get just trying to just put out there. I'm just trying to put out there what is going on while we are trying to get him out or get things overturned and stuff like that, and everything like whatever they are doing. Like now we found out that he lost the appeal, and he lost the appeal because they they sent it late. It was 7 days late. So that doesn't fall on him because he's not a lawyer. Like that falls on his lawyer and the agency. So, and that's where like I'm trying to basically tell him about what I'm learning in that situation.
Wow. Definitely not your husband's fault.
So
Yeah.
obviously that attorney, your current attorney, you said he was out sick, not feeling good, and that's the reason why it didn't get turned in.
Well, give her the details on that.
Okay.
It's more than just he was sick for the day. Go
the
butter.
lawyer, like the lawyer we have. So where we at? Okay, we know we in Westmoreland County, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lawyer that we got in the first place, there was a lot of conflict of interest. Come to find out, he had been the guy who was on the live lawyer for like 18 years, for the past 18 years, because he was a career criminal. And so he was his lawyer that whole time. So there was no way he could not. At this point, I don't feel like, I don't care what he says. He could have never represented my husband with a saying he didn't have any malice involved. But he said he's to this day he says he didn't. We wasn't aware of that. We had even had a contract signed that said that where he had to sign that it was no conflict of interest there, which I forgot what I was saying.
But there is a conflict of interest there, regardless if you don't feel that way. It just is what it, There's
Right.
that's a long time friend. It's
So my husband wrote the judge about a whole bunch of stuff, and then he comes off. So now all our money we had was in that lawyer. Now he's not his lawyer anymore, and the judge is like they're friends. They're definitely friends. Um, the lawyer went in, and then he had to get a what they call a court appointed lawyer. So the court appointed lawyer happened to be battling stage 4 cancer at the
Mhm.
time he was helping. At the time he was fighting this case with my husband, which I don't know how his head was in it
Oh,
either.
now this is interesting because Go Butter, you are a nurse, correct?
Mhm.
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 Now, how would you feel about someone you're facing life and someone that is battling and treating stage 4 cancer, chemo and all the like they're undergoing while they're fighting your case? How would you
There's,
feel about that?
there's no way you can put your 100% concentration and focus in on that.
Exactly.
It's just not ethical. It's just not possible. I mean, especially with going through treatment after treatment, family, through the process of, end of life, processing that, there's no way that you can even, depending upon what type and where you have, if you're talking some skin cancer or something, okay, but if you're talking about some type of lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, any, bone cancer, any of those ones that really
Right. The
metastasizes.
cancer was so deep, the man is gone. He's
Okay,
resting in peace now.
so
So,
yeah,
but
there's
fighting
no
at
way.
that time, that
The
Yeah,
was totally
last
unethical for him to
right,
even be trying to
unethical,
defend her husband.
and
right.
I
The
I
last
would think that.
case
Mhm.
the last case he fought was my husband. He finished that case on Friday. He never came back to work after that. Like Monday, he never came back to work after that.
How did
And
he do
then
in the case though? Why he was, helping your, why he was representing your husband? How was he like? What was his performance like during that time?
oh man, see. All right. So I have a thing where if you're going to be successful at something, right, you have to dress to win, right? If you
Hmm.
don't dress to win, your head is not in the
Lord, let
game
me
in
get
the
my
first
picture back. Let me get my picture
place.
from last week. Let me get my picture.
And Candy's going to put up a picture of how this man came in every day with this suit and to help fight this case.
Mm.
And honestly, like that was the first thing when I saw him and he tried to have a conversation with me, I was like, dude,
Oh,
like
so
my
it was,
husband is
it,
standing there dressed like so many times better than his own lawyer. Like that's never supposed to happen.
so he was uncapped. He was unwilling to really. He was unable to really, you know, present. Like he wasn't even going through something.
Right.
That's awful.
Exactly.
Yeah, he should have not. He should have not been able to take the case. There should be some legal, ethical things with that as well as attorneys. I would think so. I
That's where I
definitely think
believe so.
so. I
I
would
would
think
think so
so
too.
because of,
Did,
especially in criminal cases. Like,
hey, Tamika. Hey, Donicia. Look, here's the picture, Go Butter.
But imagine it being burgundy.
He came in
what?
looking like
Hey
this, just as
Tamika.
disheveled and everything. Oh, let me find that burgundy one.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He
Mm.
looking like who was that? Will Smith playing in that one movie when he was trying to sell his little project thing.
Oh my goodness, sell his little
He
machine.
came in
Yeah,
Yes,
looking like that.
shut up.
yes.
Can't, Candy. I can't.
Look, he came in looking like that, y'all.
No. He, what?
Yes, he did, girl.
And I said that
Look,
to
I'm saying it like I
everybody.
saw him. Yes, he did. That's how
He did.
that's how Baracious said he was
Wow.
looking, so that's how
He
he was looking.
did. That's exactly how he was looking. Now I said that to everybody. I was like, I said, you're not even dressed to win. And he's like,
Wow.
what? Like he didn't. I'm pretty sure he was surprised because it was coming from me and people. But I'm like, you're not even dressed to win. And then they was like, well, what's wrong with him? And I know they was laughing inside when they said that. I know they
Yeah,
were.
that was a joke for them. That part, my
Mm.
niece, she lives in is Irwin. Is that is
Oh, yep. That is Irwin. So
she
the
lives in
thing about
Irwin?
Irwin is the probably one of the best areas in Westmoreland County, like if you can live in. That's probably why she doesn't like Irwin is where all my doctor's appointment. When I go that way, that's where I'm going to Irwin because everything good is there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is most likely why she didn't. She stays. So I can kind of understand that.
That's where she lives now, and out there. But I don't care. She she need to get out
Yeah,
of there.
because you got to go everywhere else too. That's the thing.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay, let me read this comment by Donicia because this is a very good comment because it gives you hope. So Donicia said, similar situation happened to my dad. He unalived a cop in the 80s and he was given life. It took my grandmother 8 years, but she got the sentence overturned. So don't give up. Justice can prevail.
That's
Thank
right.
God.
That I'm
Right.
sorry you went through that, Donisha, for real, and your
Yeah.
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
because I truly know what you guys went through right now. But I'm not. I just that's why I'm just trying to make sure I stay healthy, trying to help him keep his head up and stuff in there.
So how long
Because
has it been since he's been in jail? How long now?
since April 16th, 2021.
Okay. Good.
Tina, that's Denzel Washington in that movie he was in. But that's how Voracious was saying he was looking, that the lawyer was looking
Yeah, he wasn't ready. He
at
wasn't.
all.
His
He.
lawyer was Caucasian too, so you can imagine like what his hair stuff was looking like.
Uh,
He was not he didn't come near to win. He came near because that was going to be his last rodeo, and that's what I
Mm,
felt.
mm, mm.
how old was he around?
100.
See, I
Oh,
knew it. I knew
now
he
see,
was
now,
going to that. I knew it. Mm-mm.
now this is a serious topic. Don't be over here having me laughing voracious one. now look. Now look at this comment by and welcome Hexley's Cauldron. Hexley said this whole case is another example of how a lot of these lawyers don't see these cases as just a notch in their resume and not people's lives, and that is so true. Like
Mm-hmm.
he literally thought he probably was sitting over here knowing this case is my last hurrah before I expire, and so let me just take on this type of case, not knowing, okay, take on it if you think you're going to win, if you feel like you're in the mental state
Right.
to win. And that's the problem when people get in these type of health predicaments, and it can be about anything. They don't really realize their mortality, or they don't realize, okay, maybe this is too much for me. They still are like, oh no, I can do it, I can do it, when you really can't. Your mind is clouded with chemotherapy medications.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and that was one of the things that I said, that the situation that I went through with my health, because I've never had to go through like where I took any certain type of medications and stuff like that for pain. I've never went through that. I can now honestly guarantee say that those medications mess up your brain function, because it was times where I recognized me being loopy. So I know he wasn't on his game. That's why he didn't um oppose anything that he was supposed to. He was just like he was not there for the
Those
situation.
those chemo drugs are strong. They affect
Hmm.
everything. If it makes your hair fall out, you can just about imagine what it does to like your skin, especially if he's getting radiation treatment. If he's taking pills, if he those chemo pills, they just it wipes out your hemoglobins, your blood levels are low, no energy, your iron, your hormones. It affects every aspect of your body, your immune system, all of that. And it's so sad because like you know the courts knew this because obviously they knew this man for
Yeah.
years. He was
Yes.
probably a very fine lawyer for them back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he probably had an awesome reputation back in the day. But
Mm-hmm.
stumbling across his illness that he was currently in his state, they knew it and they let that go. There gotta be some kind of ethical, like, even as a nurse, there's certain guidelines that you're not able to practice under. Like
Right.
certain conditions that you're not able to practice under. And you can go like up under the board behind that, and they will, lessen your responsibilities until you come through that problem. Like, say for example, drug addiction. You won't be able to work with on a site that you where you have to handle drugs, but you can work in the health field to do clerical work or so, charts and reviews and stuff like that.
Right.
So there has to be those type of stipulations. I can't see it not being with attorneys. It just doesn't make any sense because they too they fight these things, right? I
Right.
mean, yeah, that doesn't. I don't know what it would be called, but it doesn't seem like it's something that even the court knowingly makes them guilty as well, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes them guilty if they don't report it and say something about it. Makes them guilty as well.
And I think it comes to the judge, which is why the one thing, like any other lawyer he had, because he had a so he had a my husband had a lawyer. So after the the judge took the one lawyer off, that was his friend. He put another lawyer on. Um, him, I'm trying to find him. Can't even find him, but my husband told me something about him today, so I'm gonna look him up to see if I can find him out there. Maybe that's why I haven't been able to find him. But he had him, and he was like, oh, he was confident about the case, and he knew what he was doing, everything. All of a sudden, this man got a job somewhere else, doing something else. Whatever he was went to do, it wasn't even going to be a lawyer. So we was just that's what we was trying to figure out. But that's what I don't know if that's true though, because that's what the lawyer that passed away, came in and said when they put him on there. So I think he really wasn't following whatever little scam or what they was going to do. I think he wasn't for it because he wasn't from with them. He wasn't like from that area, so he wasn't all followed up with them. And I think when you're not followed up with them like that, they treat you worse. Now, this one he have is he's not out there either. He's not from that area either. But I think to me, he seems like he want to be accepted so much. He does not know these people will never accept him. But I guess in his head, he thinks, oh, they're going to accept me. They're going to accept me. And I think that's why he didn't give his 100% in it, because he didn't give his 100% either. I did tell him that too. So he probably really didn't want to talk to me no more. But I don't feel like he gave his 100%.
Excuse me.
I go digger. Did I miss anybody? I spoke to. Hi, Hexley. I don't know if I spoke to Hexley.
Hey, Gold Digger.
So,
So we really have to see now. I mean, this was just a few years ago. Do we have video recording of the
that was my
trial
question too.
so that we could watch his behavior in the courtroom? Because I think all these little things are going to be very important. We not only need the transcript, of course, and I know the transcript would be available, but do they video these trials to where we have video evidence so we can observe his behavior? That man may have been sitting over there, at the table falling asleep for all we know. Just had chemo the day before.
He
He,
probably, and you're right.
they
He
have it.
probably could have, because I know every question I could tell because my husband write a question down, then he slide the book over. Then that's when the man asks a question. So he probably did. Now I'm pretty sure it is recorded. Is it available for everybody? Probably not, because I know it was even a class in there. I'm not sure. It had to be from Duquesne because that's the school that practice law out here. So I'm thinking that there's probably students from Duquesne. But I feel like that case was a bad case for those kids to see. And I'm hoping that they was so far up that they will be like, okay, hey, you see this, and like talk about it and actually get some spotlight and come back for it. Because you know how when they get to graduate school, some of them do that. So like I just be praying for everything, like just be putting the seeds out there, you know.
So what colleges go there to watch?
I'm thinking it was Duquesne because that's the school that where
Okay.
people go for law. Yeah, Duquesne.
I think Point Park too.
Point
And
Park
I think
too, okay.
yeah, and I think Cal U, well it used to be Cal U, I think is the West Side something. I, that's one of the colleges that I went to. But I know they have law because my girlfriend got her degree out there. But that would be a good thing too to send that to some of the instructors, a copy of like the transcripts of the case and have them review it and get them involved and looking at that as well. But I feel like this needs to go live on somebody's TV. I feel like bringing awareness to this county
Yeah,
um
that's
it
my goal. That's what I'm trying to do because my husband actually have met a lot of it's guys in there that are in there just like him, and they just been railroaded.
mhm,
So it's I wants this, if they can be recognized, this is not only going to help my husband. It's going to be so many families that benefit from this right here because they've been doing this for a minute. It's like a guy that's been in there right now for 12 years, right? Been fighting. Then look at the guy with the 3 life sentences. Like, how do you get 3 life sentences like that? That's what I was trying to ask my husband. He's trying to explain to me the story as he finds out something, but I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, it's not a master, but it's just that if you're put in a situation where it's life and death, and you live in a state that it doesn't matter, you would think that you would be okay, but you're not okay. And I think he more wasn't okay. I can't even say that either. He was because he doesn't have a license to carry. But you, it's not a license to carry here, it's a license to conceal. So if you have a weapon and you have it showing, you can carry it. So I still don't, they just play around with that rule a lot to me too.
mhm.
But that's the idea. I wanted to get them. I want them exposed. I want people to know like this is what's going on. So you have to fight the rules just like everybody else. You don't get to cheat. You don't get to say, hey, this person is that, this is what we're going to do, and we just want to railroad them. And the whole fact of no the black jury part, like how that doesn't set well with me either because I know I go everywhere I've ever lived. I vote. I see black people there voting all the time. You cannot tell me that no black people's coming up on their list, and it's coming up on everybody else's list.
Right.
Wow.
I'm
It,
sure
it just sounds like this. Go ahead, go, butter. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sure you've reached out to some different organizations. Is there any organizations that you've reached out to that um I don't know, the NAACP for Pennsylvania in that area?
I've been in contact with the NAACP.
You said
They, hmm,
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said I've been in contact with the NAACP.
Mhm.
They actually haven't gotten back to anything like lucrative. Okay, we're gonna pass this along. Somebody will get back to you. Like that's where I'm at with that. I tried to get in. Well, I'm not gonna say I tried. I did get in touch with the ACLU out here as well. Um,
And what's that stand for? That's
that's the civil. They for like the civil liberties.
American Civil Liberties.
Yeah.
okay.
But right now, they're focused on the LGBT. Like it has to be something to deal with that, and this doesn't have anything to do with that.
How
Mm.
about another good one, folks, that you can look into also is some activists on, criminal crimes. And it doesn't have to be in Westmoreland County though.
Right.
Because here's the thing, they don't want no attention there. They don't want no attention there. Not on them.
Right. That's why I've been trying to meet people like representatives and stuff in the county
Yes.
that I'm in right now because they don't mind. I feel like they shouldn't mind. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But some of the strong activists, like in the Hill District, um, and especially these days, like, see, I'm not there a lot, and so it's hard to, I don't even know what's going on there like that. But some activists, um, is because they do it because that's what they want to do is fight for people's rights, especially our rights. And they would probably be able to put you in contact with some folks as well.
Maybe you think if I go to the state representative office, they'd be able to point me in the direction of some people who are
I
activists for the community.
I think that it's worth a try, but I think that even if we can just let me just put it into the computer system, activists in certain counties and stuff like that, um, for criminal because they have them there. I know the Hill. I see because I'm from Allegheny County, like the Hill District. There's just activists all over the hill.
Yeah.
Um, it's just you go up there, you can see the history behind it. Um, but I think that it's worth a shot to see. Um, but just keep in mind here, the thing is that because in that community where you are, everybody know everybody. So you really got to move in silence on people that you're reaching out to
Right.
because people know people and they just drop a line and this, that, and the other and try and get to them before you, or you never know. That's when all the weird stuff start happening. You're like, I was talking to them really good, and then all of a sudden, they stop answering your call, um, and that,
Right.
is you gotta be just. I feel like you just gotta be very strategic.
Just talk to the right lady. Like make sure have an idea of who I'm talking to.
um, I'm just putting it into Google for Pittsburgh, PA, and see what comes up. And I'm gonna put like in the Hill District. And there's quite a few that came up. There's quite a few that came up. I just put Black activists in Pittsburgh, PA, Hill District. Um, put here the Hill House. The Hill House.
So how have your husband's spirits been? While Go Butter is looking that up, how how's he maintaining and keeping his spirits up? Just to get mentally prepared to even continue fighting this fight.
Um, Getting, because when he found out that he had mail that went back from his lawyer, like that had put him in a little frenzy. So when that's why I was like, so then I'll say that's why when I kept calling, and then that's when I finally like he when he answered and I got the reason, the letter and stuff, and let him know like it wasn't coming. So he felt better, but I felt like he's still like kind of in a frenzy, like trying to get him settled and stuff like that. Because now he's like, what? He didn't have no control over that. And the way dude said it is like, hey, yeah, it was 7 days late. Like, oh, you were 7 minutes late to the day. No, that wasn't even on him. That was on you guys. So he's like trying to do everything. So then he went and tried to find the PCRA form that you have to get, which I believe the PCRA form is like 10 pages long that they have to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he just been going. So like just today, I sent him like a list of Bible verses and stuff to help him like when he gets like so too frustrated and he can't like maneuver, just like sit down and read these verses. It took him a minute to like get there, and then he did have some people that. So I find that he has an attraction to a certain type of person. Like this type of person is attracted to him, and in there, it was a guy who had, I guess, wanted like to be around him, but the guy, when he would tell me about the guy, he reminded me of the same guy like that happened to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he kept saying, he said, "Yo, this guy reminds me of him." And I was like, okay, so you got to get away. Like that is, like Garvey's telling you stuff. Like you got to follow what he's saying. Like you can't be. And he did. He literally had to like sit different places and move in different areas and stuff. But now he got a job, so that is cool. Like because he was stressing about that. They won't let me get a job. They won't let me get a job. Like because he's not the type of person that just sit around and do nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that he has a job, I thought it was going to be like, okay, woo, he got a job now. But then this happened, so then I put him on it now. He goes to work and he focuses on this. So we just trying to get him to keep his head in the right area and stuff like that.
Okay.
Try and keep them busy a little bit.
Yeah. And the only thing like I really don't like is the counselor. I don't really understand that. I'm still trying to understand that. Like that's one of the reasons that I'm going to the Capitol, because like stuff like that needs to be changed, because as a counselor, you're not there because you're a correction officer. You're there for the inmates. So you can't jump on these people's side because that's what their job entails. You got to stay in your lane. Like you go to school for something. You don't got to go to school to be a correction officer. They train them to be that. You
Mm-hmm.
went to school to be a caring person that want to help people. And if you're working in the prison system, you decided to help the underdog. And I feel like you should, and people, that's what you're doing. You stand tall on that. You know what I'm saying? Not just because, oh, I'm just doing this for that. Nah, you do it because you want to, because it's in your heart. I
Yeah,
said it.
because that's the only way you're gonna stay true to the job is if you keep that mentality. If that's where your heart truly is at, where you care about people.
Right. I told him, like, that's my biggest problem. I called my professor. I don't know what I thought my professor was going to do, but I needed him to give me, like, okay, where do I go to get this change? Because I don't like that the counselor don't reach out, the counselor don't talk to them, the counselor don't work with them, the counselors don't give assignments to them and stuff like that. I said, I don't like that. How are they going to progress in there and stuff like that? And hey, my professor was like, well, everybody is not. He said, I told you. No, he said, I told you in the class, everybody is not going to feel about people like you do. and I understand that, but there's a different job for you if that's the way you feel, you know. And so he was like, he gave me some tips on what to do. So now I just gotta go and like maneuver them, and then it'll be part of their job cycle. If everything go the way I want it to go, it'll be part of their job cycle to be human towards the inmates and stuff like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
all of them, everybody ain't killers. You know, everybody in there is not a bad person. Like, and some things were situational, and if you get into that profession, you gotta know that.
Very true.
Oh, really? Go dig. I didn't know that.
Okay, look at this. Gold Digger says, she says, V1, are you allowed to get a counselor from the outside to visit him maybe twice a month?
I don't think. I don't know. I'm gonna find that out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because at that point, wouldn't all they had to do is just get on the visiting list?
Mm-hmm.
If you could. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that would give him somebody else to talk to, because um talking to me all the time, talking to his mother, like sometimes, because we got like a little situation that happened and where I did get in my feelings, you know, but I told him about it, I thought about it, I told him about it, how I felt and how it made me feel, you know. And sometimes it'd be good for him to be able to talk to an outside person. Like
Yeah.
that's how it's supposed to be. Like,
I can see that. Yeah, sometimes needing someone um not directly connected to him
mm-hmm.
to talk to.
Yeah, I believe so. But the one thing, when I was reading up on that PCRA petition, it told me that it will only cost them $5, right? However, the um the same man at Mosier, I don't know, he was saying more like, oh, if it's depending on the case and how much information they have to get, like that's what the price would be like. And in my head, I'm like, that we back up to $50,000 again. But this is the same. I'm trying to get in touch with them. Like their numbers are not good. But all the stuff that he was saying in here, it was like, oh, okay, because it's like ineffective assistance of counsel, constitutional violations, issues with guilty pleas. Like he can like literally put something in at least those one, two, three. Obstruction of right to appeal, like every single line. These are all reasons that you get a PCRA lawyer. Well, not the newly discovered evidence, but
Mm-hmm.
obstruction the right to appeal, excessive sentencing, issues with the guilty plea, constitutional violations, and ineffective assistance of counsel. Like all of these.
Voracious is your do you have Facebook?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is it under Voracious One, or you have
Uh-uh.
your business? Or?
It's under I'm putting it in the chat.
Okay.
And this was only, so it says, how long does the PCRA take, right? Hold on, play the video.
It depends on what county you're in Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, the general rule of thumb is it takes about a year.
Is that
In
both
other
the
counties,
US?
I've seen petitions filed and decided within 5 months. So it really depends on what county you're in and how congested the docket is of the judge that you're dealing with.
Mm.
Okay, I'm trying to see.
So that's still what we didn't say. So if it depends on what county you're in,
It does. That's the hard thing about it. But um, because I mean, I wouldn't even imagine that they would have. Not saying that they don't, but um, groups out there. I just can't even imagine it in Westmoreland County. I just, not like it's like it is in Allegheny. You know what I mean?
right?
Allegheny is just it's um, big county, and they just have all kind of stuff. Um, and a lot of stuff that I'm pulling up, it's saying Allegheny County. Um,
But I might still like they still might be helpful though.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I just gotta figure out how to send you this one here.
Hmm. Anything will help at this point. Shoot, got to work on something.
Hmm.
Shoot.
Yeah. I wanna send this one. Okay, let me copy this. But it's a group. It's on Facebook. Um, but um, you can probably message them through that.
Is it any of the incarcerated groups?
It says Black Organizers and Collective, but on their front page it has crimes, all of that, racism, just difference. It has all of that, so it's worth um, reaching out and seeing what direction that they may be able to point you in for additional resources.
Right.
Uh, Facebook.
I really appreciate you guys, the assistance with the looking up, the help, the listening, the talking about it when I need to. I really do appreciate you guys. So thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna go back and look for a couple more. I say that one, but
Yeah, that's the same thing I'm saying. I go digger.
oh yeah, okay. They have a lot of different um, fighting for the liberation of Black people. So we always gotta deal with what is common, most common. So
hoping that you can get this meeting and discuss this whole issue with something, because it just sounds like for a lot of reasons, like this whole thing should have been overthrown. You would think that, you know, the lawyer that you guys got assigned. And let me ask you this. At some point, did you guys say, hey, can we have another lawyer? This lawyer that we have is dealing with this. And did the lawyer ever tell you guys straight out that, hey, I'm dealing with cancer right now, I'm going through treatment? Or was this something that you guys had to find out on your own?
Nope, we found that out on our own. We found that out, matter of fact, after the court, after the verdict and everything. And then when we were trying to call him and wasn't able to get in touch with him, and they was like, oh, he's out sick. And we kept saying, like, how's he out sick? And then somebody, it's one of the other lawyers had said, like, oh, yeah, James is out because of something. And I'm like, what? And this wasn't at the time where I couldn't even hardly walk.
So it seems like they were very much, I mean, granted, you're not going to call the office and everybody going to spill all his business, but it just kind of seemed like cover up-ish.
They know that. They knew that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, how often is someone, you know, that you work with in an office to have a relationship with? I mean, if you throw in people in the office, birthday parties, baby showers, and all this, that, and the other, but you're not going to know if someone is fighting a chronically ill, you know, sickness. Come on, they knew. I feel like they knew, you know.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like, and I think that's how it came to us, because like the person just couldn't believe that it was happening, and it was like that they wasn't supposed to probably say that. So but it was said, and then once it was said, then they didn't deny it anymore. But then I know the last time we went to court, for the appeal, and we was there, and the judge was like, he was like, oh, rest in peace, and then he did a little chuckle, and I'm like, it's like all of this stuff, and I don't think I want if hopefully the what you call it, stenographer, she copies everything because she's supposed to, because that chuckle should be on there, because he definitely chuckled after saying that. And I felt, and from that point on, I felt like this is all intentional. Like he was hurt, his friend's feelings was hurt, and he's the judge. Oh, I can get him back for you, type thing. Right. And that's supposed to be one of the rights to have counsel.
This, I'm gonna send you this list I just put into Chat GPT. Hold on. I'm gonna copy this. Um, and here is some, actually a few people that went through some racism in Westmoreland County, and speaking about the challenges they faced in professional settings, different things like that. Maybe you can dive a little bit more into that and see how you can get into equality and diversity in Westmoreland County over the years. Let's see.
I have the transcripts for the trial.
But do you have the video, like, from at the time? Like, did they have body cams on when this happened, when they got there on the scene?
They didn't show any body cams, no pictures. So I'm pretty sure they got. I don't even know if they have body cams for real.
I mean, 2021. I mean, it should. I mean, they should, right? All
No, because they just came off. So that was 2021, and 2020 to 2019 to 2020, they were actually, they didn't have any money at all. So they weren't even getting paid to work.
what?
So yeah, they might not have had body cams at that time, because I don't think they might have them now, because after COVID, they gave them some. They was able to get some money, but yeah, like they had a whole. It's a in town police department. That's how come it's so rickety. Like
Mm-hmm. It's worth looking into. Um, let me see if I can. Try to message you. Okay.
in December of 2018, they was looking to lease dash and body cams for the police department.
What years was that again?
That was December 8th, 2021.
Okay. Well, I just sent you 3 individuals' names. I guess they're from out there. We're in Westmoreland County, but Greensburg, Jeanette, NAACP actively support Black-owned businesses. Da, 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 da. But these individuals and organizers have played significant roles in advocating for equality and diversity in Westmoreland County over the years.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask because I'm gonna call that lawyer back again. I'm gonna ask him now.
And see, a lot of these folks that are from Pittsburgh region, like in Allegheny County, that were out there in Westmoreland County, um, part of some coalition. Um, you never know who. That's all. That's what that. It's all in who you know. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's exactly.
Let's go back here.
No, Gold Digger. I had one paid lawyer. He was the one that kind of railroaded this whole thing to whereas he may have even because my husband says that's something that he told them and they brought it up in court. So he feels like the paid lawyer shared the information and so he wasn't good. Like he's another like he needs to get sued, but they said that my husband has to sue because he had a conflict of interest because he used to be the guy's lawyer for like 18 years.
This was just a whole bunch of
Oh,
shenanigans.
you talking about? Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't know where he's at. I've been looking for him, and they said whatever job he got, it was out of. It wasn't even being a lawyer either. So, and I've been looking for him, but he did go to the same college that I went to, so I was going to try to find him that way.
Mm.
But yeah, that was pretty much all that I had really to share. Um, just still working on the project. I'm going to be coming in more with updates. I'm trying to do at least a show every week. Um, just like updates and stuff like that. I'm also thinking about like looking at other people in the same situation as my husband so that and I kind of focus on them and get something so that would help my organization like come into where I wanted to go as well. So that's what I'm thinking about. But I'm trying to do like not one thing at a time, but I just wanted to like share with you guys the new information that I have received and everything.
Mhm. Well, I'll keep just kind of digging around for you too, um, and shoot you anything that I think might be helpful as well.
Okay, I really appreciate that,
Uh huh.
and I wish you good. Well, I wish you well.
Thank you. I feel a lot better today than
Yes, slowly
at
but surely
all.
you gonna get back to 100%, girl.
I can't wait because, oh my gosh, that was awful. Oh my goodness.
And then because your son is gone, right? So you was by your home by yourself,
And I was trying not to tell him and give him no reason to come home. You know,
right?
he's like, I miss my room. I miss my bed. Boy, your beach is fine. I'm like,
Hopefully
look
school's
here.
going well for him.
He's had some challenges and stuff like that. I've had to talk him off the ledge a couple times, and
Aw, it's a lot to get used
yeah,
to.
it is. It is, and he amazed me. I mean, he's hanging in there, but he calls me and I let him get. But you can't say anything, and he's like, I gotta prepare for this, test, and that, and the syllabus, mom, is da da da. And how do they expect for you to read all these chapters? And I'm trying to tell him, how to break the syllabus down. Like that syllabus is your exam. It's this. No, mom, this is college. You do not know what this is like, mom. You never stayed on the campus, mom. I'm like, okay, so I couldn't even get a word in. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to tell you how to read this syllabus and make it work in your favor. You know. No, mom, you don't get it. You never stayed on campus. I'm like, that's not the point, but okay. You know what I'm saying? All right, when he calm back down, then we can have this talk. So, but other than that, he's doing all right, finding his way. Yeah. I haven't cooked, ladies, since he's been gone. It's been like a little over a month. I have been getting food from the outside and having it over a 2-day period or so. Taking it in the lunch. Like, only thing I've cooked was fried green tomatoes a couple times a week. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna get. I said next week I'm gonna start, trying to cook a little something something instead of eating out. But man, after cooking for all these years, I mean, I was cooking every day, every other day, big football meals. Like now it's just like I don't gotta do that.
Well, everyone, I'm out of here. It's been a good show as always. We're always learning something, and I will definitely be tuning in for all the episodes. I'm just hoping that this gets some traction and someone can look at this, because I think a lot of things sound like they were definitely done wrong, and your husband shouldn't have to pay the price for that. I know this is a case where someone, people really need to think about this. I know it's a case where someone lost their life, but when you're in a situation when it's your life or their life, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? That's what people really need to keep it in their heads. That was, they struggling for the gun and her husband just happened to get the gun. Now, what
Right.
if the other man had? What was going to happen?
And that's the
Exactly.
whole thing about it is like if the other guy would have had it and it had been reversed, what would they have done? Nothing. I feel like I hate to be that way. I try to be open minded about it, but we see this all too often. It's blatant, and now it's just so out there. Racism. It's everywhere you go. And it's just in your face now. I mean, you got the presidential candidates just talking about it like it's just no big deal anymore. You got these teachers are doing it to these students and kids and everything, but it just is just so aggravating. I feel like, opposed to growing up in the 70s and 80s, I really didn't see racism like that. It wasn't until I became a nurse that I really seen that it still really exists, um, of the things that I have gone through and continue to go through, really. Um, but it's just so open now. It's just so, I don't know, people just don't really care. They say what they want to say. I don't, and it's unacceptable. And we cannot go back. We cannot go back.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I thank everybody for coming. I will see everyone who comes to service in the morning. In the morning, we do know it's the album party. I literally have the album. I was going to do a sneak peek Friday, but then I didn't. So that's what we prepared. So we know we're gonna get the spirits up tomorrow.
Yes. Yes. Right at church. Yes.
So have a awesome rest of the night. I don't think Heavy twitching tonight, right? Heavy, you're not twitching tonight, right?
Hey, Heavy and Gold Digger.
I thank everyone for continuously coming to support. I do really appreciate it. And
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. We're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Okay, yep, we down. I think we down, right? All right. Have a good night, y'all. Later.
Later.
Bye.
Everybody come through the. Hey. I got dominion. I got authority in the kingdom. Got everything I need. Everybody come through the. Hey. I got dominion. I got authority in the kingdom. Got everything I need.